another kiss, but you don't think that you should. On the Riviera, you would if you're just out to bust out and see what you can see. The place to...
Jack Cole, by dancers, is called the father of American jazz dance. He started out doing modern work with the Denishon Company and also the Weidman Company. But somewhere along the line, he found a very definite style of his own. It was all about isolation.
Jack Cole managed to fuse a number of different disparate elements. He understood Broadway showmanship, but he also was attracted to ethnic issues and somehow things like that, Indian things.
Bharatanatyam, the East Indian dances of love, the East Indian dance that Jack moved so well with like this, but it was an interesting man that moved that way, and no one could do that unless they moved with that marvelous charm. He charmed Gwen Verdon to be the most punctuated, perfect dancer of the professional dance in films.
On Broadway, I guess he's most famed for Kismet. He did both the stage and film versions of Kismet. Kismet's a good example, I mean, a quintessential example of what he did, because he began to fuse all these Near Eastern movements with a Broadway idiom. And there was always something wonderfully exotic about his work.
Jack was all about hitting poses and enjoying the moment. The faces of his dancers didn't usually do much. It was all the intensity of the body.
Thrilling, chilling, inviting, exciting as the travel boat is guaranteed.
Jack Cole began with a troupe of dancers. He gained success in nightclubs because he would also create dance scenarios which were out of the ordinary. He also surrounded himself with an incredible troupe of dancers.
Jack Cole was absolutely fantastic. And when we'd come on the set of Let's Make Love, he'd say, "Come on, crazy twins, get over here." And he would just start doing something and moving, and we'd follow him immediately. And he could not
Gwen
understand
Verdon did that. Gwen caught on to, she was known as a Jack Cole dancer.
Gwen Verdon was Jack's primary assistant and muse. For instance, Gwen Verdon was the one who taught Marilyn Monroe all of the dance steps, rehearsed her over and over and over and over. And Marilyn Monroe once said a very interesting thing about Gwen Verdon. If you can't learn, from Gwen Verdon, you can't learn it from anybody. She was the ultimate technician and dance assistant.
He would look at you and he would do you would just work your butt off because it was fun.
When Jack Cole does the choreography, everybody is brilliant. There's no such thing as a bad Jack Cole dancer. He was one of the most demanding choreographers ever on stage or film.
Jack began at Columbia Pictures. Jack Cole created the first and only, that I know, contract dance company at Columbia. When Harry Cohn asked him to be the dance director at Columbia, Jack had very specific needs. First of all, he wanted a troupe of dancers under contract. He also wanted a rehearsal space, a learning space, and they built it for him on the Columbia lot. Because Jack's answer to Mr. Cohn was, "I'm going to build you a skeleton crew. These people will learn all of the choreography for all of the films and then teach them to other dancers." And Mr. Cohn, who was not loved in this town, now he was a smart cookie. He knew a good deal when he saw it. He next was assigned to do a couple of Rita Hayworth pictures. And he put her on the map with a song called "Put the Blame on Maine Boy" from Gilda. Every move she makes, Jack Cole is there. Not only did he teach her all of that, but he's behind the camera saying, "Come on, come on, come on, give it to me." Marilyn Monroe was his next when he went to 20th Century Fox.
Marilyn didn't do any film without him, just showing her how to walk and just, you know, do all
wonderful.
her things. He was
Crazy.
He also created Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, which if you ask most people what's the image you have, it's Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. He also got to work with Betty Grable, and Betty Grable was a very pretty, a very multi-talented lady, but she didn't want to work too hard. So she just wanted to look lovely, and Jack Cole said, that ain't good enough, baby. You're going to dance. So if you see things like Meet Me After the Show or The Farmer's Wife, Meet Me After the Show and The Farmer's Wife, she dances with Gwen Verdon. Once he moved on to Fox, 20th Century Fox, he brought Gwen Verdon with him. And Gwen worked with Jack on several films, and he started featuring her in films, like On the Riviera. In the film David and Bathsheba, she does an incredible solo dance, which was heavily censored at the time. Gwen Verdon in On the Riviera, in the opening Rhythm of a New Romance, she's doing something that is a Cole trademark, which is not necessarily dancing, it's talking in rhythm.
Mesdames et messieurs, with a great pleasure.
She does this whole, she's like the hostess for this event, and she does things in rhythm, and she does it, it's all double-edged. Cole worked not necessarily in music all the time. He could work in words, he could work in beats. He choreographed not to 5, 6, 7, 8. It was a boom, cha, bow, bow, bow. It was sounds. So Gwen Verdon displays that side of Jack Cole beautifully in the beginning of that number.
I don't recall your face, but I'd like to be familiar.
The dance part that I'm the most impressed about with Mr. K is those staircases are daunting. Jack Cole loved staircases. Jack Cole not only choreographed, designed the sets and the costume, but he also then directed and edited the musical numbers. And stairs gave him great filmic devices. First of all, speed, angles, height. If you look at a series of his numbers, we're always looking up and dancers are looking down at us from staircases. But Danny hauls along those stairs without flinching. And moves just as fast as Gwen does and just as easily. It was Jack Cole who actually devised the number Popo the Puppet. Jack Cole was always in love with Commedia dell'arte, so he proposed to Sylvia Fine, Danny Kaye's wife, if you would write a song about a puppet, we can create on screen a theater, a little puppet theater, with all of the characters being manipulated, and there were men up in the fly who were actually moving at least the strings. The dancers and Kaye were moving themselves.
He can juggle a prune, blow up a balloon, or tickle a tune on the piano.
Cole had this wonderful group of the most trained dancers in Hollywood. He set a new standard. These people learned Afro-Cuban dance, they learned East Indian, they learned jazz, they learned all of those kinds of things. So when you see a Jack Cole choreographed film, the dancers who are leading all of the numbers are his students, if you will.
It was thrilling to see when the curtain was up on a dance sequence, your eyes were filled. There wasn't one piece of that stage that didn't have something going on, you know. There'd be something happening in the foreground, but then in the distance, there'd be people moving here, and there'd be people moving over there. And he just filled your eye with exciting things happening. He was a very, very exciting choreographer.
Feel real good when I see the final fade out. I want that mortgage paid out every dime. Wanna yip it, wanna yak it, leave my hanky.